Welcome back, guys. This is Mike Hernandez with Black Rifle Coffee. I have Clay with X Overland. And for today's pro tips, we want to go over a subject that I think gives some people a little bit of anxiety, or maybe it changes even the way they make decisions on the trail when they're overlanding, right?
100%.
And that's getting stuck, right?
Yep.
You had mentioned that getting stuck is a normal part of the process in overlanding. And you're going to give us some of your knowledge today in the way of some mindset tips, but also gear, because it is gear intensive, right?
Sure.
And I'll let you, the master, kind of walk us through that process.
Thinking through recovery is kind of the first aid for your vehicle. So any sort of first aid, you need skill sets, plus you need tools. And then you need to have the proper mindset to approach it, right? So when we're out driving around, I'm not afraid to get stuck because I have the skills, I have the proper mindset, and I have the tools to extract my vehicle, typically, unless it was some catastrophic something or other, which we all worry about. But in my years of traveling, it doesn't really happen. We're always so afraid of the worst case scenario, but typically it's many other things that we should really be worried about. So without those proper skill sets and mindset, you might be afraid to drive down that road that really would provide you an awesome adventure, but your fear of being stuck would prevent you from going further.
Absolutely.
So training is really important, something that we can't cover here.
Truth.
But it is epically important that you go get. And then when you go get that training, you're going to learn about the tools and develop the mindset that you need to handle the situations that you'll find yourselves in. So some of those tools, there's basics. There's one is MaxTrax, traction recovery boards, as they've now become known as. MaxTrax, you put them under a vehicle with a spinning, hopefully not a spinning tire. You wedge them under there, it gains traction, and you can extract by going forward or backwards. We use these inside of our organization probably 90% of the time during any recovery. And we use them in conjunction, is that the right word? Sure. With winching. So they work together too. It's not only this or that. These tools work together. And they're very simple. They're very safe. They're lightweight. They work for forwards. They work for back. We carry a set of 4, which is the ideal number for these.
4 for each tire.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
And a lot of times you kind of like, you know what? I need 3 on this side because I'm going to back out and I need another one right there.
There you go.
And so 4 gives you the best tools. We've actually been on expeditions where we carried 8 MaxTrax per truck.
And you used them.
So, and yeah.
So traction is the name of the game for recovery, a low traction area, MaxTrax.
And the best mindset that I think you can have when it comes to recoveries is that you want it to be controlled. You don't want anything going haywire.
Absolutely.
So things like having the right tools will give you that controlled extraction.
Absolutely.
So other than that, let's see, we've got, the next thing would be like another vehicle using a tow strap or a snatch strap. There's a difference between a tow strap and a snatch strap. A tow strap is literally for what it sounds like, towing, moving a vehicle from one place to another. A snatch strap is a dynamic rope. It's designed to stretch and it loads energy and it helps extract the vehicle out of a stuck situation using another vehicle. We use those all the time. We actually were just in Alaska doing some tough trails. We carry the winches and everything. And the snatch strap ended up being like the tool we use all the time. It's fast. And that's what these are for, because we can wrap snatch straps on them.
I can relate to that too, because it was, for me, learning this as I grew up, and having this essentially enlarged rubber band. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. It stretches that dynamic load over the, the surface of it. It's a little, I don't know, unnerving maybe the word is, but it literally is the go-to.
It is.
For us in most cases.
It's one of the safer things that you can do.
So we have MaxTrax, we have the kit, we went over the static tow, the snatch strap. What are we going
Then you get into mechanical recoveries, which would be a winch.
The winch.
So using a winch, that you're using an electric motor to turn gears that retracts a winch line that has a lot of pulling power. These are, in my opinion, absolutely critical to have on true overland vehicles, because when you need a winch, you need a winch.
Yeah.
If you're trying to do recoveries where you require a winch, but you only have the other tools, it's going to get Western, so to speak. So this allows to maintain that controlled extraction. But there's a lot of training that goes along with one of these to get it right. So, but it is an essential tool.
Excellent. So let me just ask you this, because I know we can get into the weeds on this big time. Do you have a preference on synthetic or the steel rated lines that come with?
They both have advantages. There are people that are like only synthetic. Some people are only cable.
Right.
I have a vehicle that I'm going to have for a very long time, and I use it in Montana, and it has harsh roads. I kept the steel cable on.
There you go. And that's the reason to do it.
It's got I'm going to use it for pulling logs out of the woods and stuff like that. I want something that's very tough cable.
Good stuff.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, when we're using expeditions, trucks, a lot of people, a lot of extractions, we're really worried about being weight conscious of the vehicle. Synthetic. Synthetic has a much safer braking characteristics. If it does break, it doesn't carry the kinetic energy that steel does. There's still best practice that we still use no matter what, but generally the synthetic is a much safer in the event of failure.
Especially for those of us who have families, right? We're out there to have a good time. We don't want to hurt a baby or the kids or what, you know. I know I can relate. I lean more towards the synthetic side, but just for that fact, because you know, we're out recreationally driving. What about weight savings? Does that ever come into play when you have something like this?
Weight savings on like big expedition vehicle builds is at the top of our minds.
There you go.
We know that the trucks are going to be heavy. We're just trying to regulate how heavy they are. So going into synthetic line, which is, this is Warren's Nightline Spydura line that just came out. It's awesome. It actually has 3M reflective ribbon in it. And I was like, how come it took us so long to get this? But in the middle of the night, because you're stuck in the night all the time, you can actually see with your headlights and your headlamps.
That's cool.
The line and stuff. So things are getting better. They're getting safer. But you still got to go get trained and know what you're doing. But don't be afraid to get stuck.
Absolutely.
In high school and college, it was our Friday night activity. We would call up some buddies. It's snowy in the mountains. We'd head right back out here and they said, "You want to go get stuck tonight?"
Absolutely.
You know, like, well, let's go get stuck. And we would spend hours getting ourselves stuck and unstuck.
Right. No, that's awesome.
Just go through the motions and it'll be okay.
100%. So a couple of resources that we were talking about offline is Warren does a real great job with PDF files on their website. You had mentioned, but also these pictures are really great because they show you and help you, because when that stressor sets in, it affects the way we make decisions and the chaos, and to mitigate that and have more fun. That's why I really like Warren too. And I love the fact that you brought this stuff out, because I endorse these guys. Any other tips?
Be on the lookout for knockoff stuff. If you're getting into this world, there's a lot of cheap shackles out there that aren't rated. They need to have the working load limit labeled on them. They need to be tested. You want them to be, let's see, forged, not poured, or forged, not like stamped and stuff. So like there's a lot of things that go into making this heavy equipment recovery safe. Don't go cheap on stuff. Even, this strap's $50 cheaper. There's probably a reason for it.
100%. So
buy once, cry once.
There you go. Be proactive. Do your research. Understand WLL, working load limit, for your vehicle's weight and working load. Excellent.
Do not pay attention to max load. That's starting to come. I've seen it creep in. Only pay attention to working load limit.
Working load, WLL. You see that label on yourself. That's the one you want. Well, I appreciate you again, man. I know we've done a couple of these. Great talking to you. Lots of knowledge there, guys. Again, Mike Hernandez with Black Rifle Coffee, Clay with Overland. We'll catch you on the next one.
See you.